All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another edition of In the Lead Off the Record. I know we had some technical difficulties last week, blaming that one on Facebook. So definitely thanks for working through that with us, and happy to have you back here. As always, love to hear from you. Any questions, any comments? We'd love to see you chat in underneath. We are watching it. We definitely want to give a shout out to those guys that are joining us. You can also like our page. We post a lot of content on there, including these webinars, obviously, but a lot of other information that is absolutely helpful for you guys. After we wrap this up, we always post this to our other outlets too. So if you're on Instagram, if you're on Twitter, we're all at The Lead Tool. If you're one of those people that I am not, but I know Chase likes it, podcasts, right? So if you're in your car driving, you can check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, the whole nine. You'll be able to catch us with everything we talk about on there. So, excuse me, with that being said, Chase is going to be popping in here in a couple minutes. He's wrapping up a few things. But for those of you that don't know me, that are new, my name is Kyle Cheslock. I am our VP of Sales. Chase will be popping in here shortly, is the CEO of The Lead Tool. We don't spend a lot of time talking about our product on here. These are mostly designed to help you guys in the marketplace with kind of different things that are going on that you may or may not know about. Different topics every week, from e-commerce to sales process and things of that nature. That's kind of what we have in store for you today. We're going to be talking a little bit about your sales process as it relates to the various sales technologies that are available out there before you actually buy it, kind of what you need to know. Because a lot of times, and a lot of individuals and companies that we talk to on a daily basis think that you can just buy a technology, plug it in place, and you don't have to do anything else. That couldn't be further from the truth for what you guys got to do. And as I say that, Chase is in here as well. So I think a great place to start is kind of what you need to do, what you need to think about before you get into evaluating these technologies. Particularly, we're going to talk about CRM because that is the sales technology, if you will. It's not a end-all, be-all, cure-all type system that you can just put in your organization and expect your guys to use it.
Well, I want to back up because we can talk about CRM, but this goes for all software, because in some industries that are particularly far behind in terms of technology and in the building product space, that would hands down be flooring. Marketing automation is just catching on, and I think people hear automation and they think it's like a magic bullet. Marketing automation is not going to do jack shit for you if you don't have a sales process in place. And forget the CRM for a second. If you get a marketing automation platform, that's not really going to do anything except blast out whatever stuff you type in emails and whatever to send out.
Nobody reads right now.
And then no one reads email. So even if you do get some traction, you get some inbound interest, if you don't have a sales process to back that up, all the leads you generate from this marketing automation, and I don't care if you shouldn't be mailing direct mailers in 2017.
Yeah.
But if you are, it doesn't matter if it's that or whatever it is.
That shouldn't at least be your primary function. Right?
No,
that should be where all your dollars.
If you don't have a sales process, nothing in front of that matters. So
you're talking about not just a sales product, a consistent one.
Well, yeah, that's why it's a process.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, a lot of these people have the vague, assimilation of a process, and they do it. Sometimes here, sometimes there, but that's not a true sales process. You're just kind of half-assing it.
It's not a process because it's not repeatable.
Yeah, exactly.
So it has to be by definition, a process is a set of steps that you take. So it's very haphazard. So it's not a process. It's some shit that you do every now and again, trying to sell.
Or you fish it, right?
Right.
You're only collecting information when they're ready to buy.
Well, and I think all too often the lack of focus on sales process is from a lack of understanding or emphasis on the fact that the customer matters.
Yeah.
It's always, well, how am I going to get this into my accounting system or whatever? Yeah. There's always there's this overall focus.
Me.
Right, and this is why sales process matters, because so I was having a conversation with one of our customers, because I think more manufacturers than building products and home furnishing space are going to go direct. I don't think it, I know it. I just know it. I know within the next 6 to 12 months, I'm willing to bet that like more will be going direct.
Well, you've seen it in every other industry.
Well, yeah, that's because it's what you got to do, and like this is why sales process matters. I'm getting to my point here. So our customers telling me, well, won't their independent retail dealers or whoever, or retail like resellers revolt? Well, you know what? They don't give a shit if they do revolt, because what these brands care about is their end customer, like who's actually buying their product, not like whatever channel, whether it's a wholesale or retail channel is in between. The reason they got to go direct is because they've realized the experience sucks in those other channels, and they've got to get to their end customer, because in so many cases, whether it's windows, doors, roofing, siding, flooring, kitchen, cabinetry, whatever, you walk into some sort of showroom, like a design showroom, and you've got, like Masco cabinets next to Master Brand, you've got Mohawk next to Shaw, you've got Pella next to Anderson. Like, so the brands, in order to make sure that they maintain preference, number one, they have to actually have a image to consumers. They have to have a brand image.
Yeah.
But number two, like, people want to buy that way, so they don't really give a shit like about Joe's retail showroom. They care about how they want to buy, and if Joe's not cutting it, at some point, like, this is life or death for these vendors that are farther up the food chain. But the reason that the sales process matters is because that's the only advantage that you have, that customer experience. Like, so these brands are focusing on it. They're going to be
exist in it.
Right.
Joe's retail location.
Right. They're already, so like brands are already bypassing their other sales channels. They're going direct because that's how people want to buy. The reason that this is an issue for retail is that retail is thinking about, well, how do I not enter data twice? Forget that, like, I don't ever call my customers back 90% of the time. Like, I don't want to put an invoice in. Like, that's assuming you even get the sale, man. Like, You're not closing 90% of your sales. I'm sorry. You're not closing 50%. I've seen bullshit claims of people, like, even who sell software claiming over, like, 60, 70. Like, no. It's not happening. It's just, it's not realistic. We have the data. We have years of data. We know what the industry standard close rate is. Yeah. It ain't that.
And the quote-unquote best salespeople in the world don't have this close rates.
No, they don't. Just because, like, they're actually tracking, like, every contact. Yeah. So back to my point, like, the reason sales process matters is because, like, today it is about your customer. It's not about you. In retail, like, that's why traditional retail's gotten slaughtered. That's why traditional retail does $691 million a year in online sales. And actual businesses that are focused on e-commerce, the non-store retailers, do $28 billion. It's 40.5 times more. So sales process matters because all the leads in the world don't matter if you don't make it easy to buy. Your sales process is how you make it easy to buy. Like, how easy is it for me to give you money? That's really what this boils down to.
You're just picking up people right now that are going to buy stuff anyways.
Right, and right now traditional retail is making that really hard. Home Depot's kicking ass, Amazon obviously kicks ass, Wayfair kicks ass, but like everyone else, like pretty much, if you haven't read my blog post, I wrote a blog post on the decline in traditional retail since 2001. It's on our blog, blog.theleadtool.com. It's on Medium. And basically, there's a reason that there's been like 35% attrition in LBM dealers. Furniture, well, they were a little under 30, but furniture and flooring were between 35 and 40%. So there's 35 to 40% less businesses today, or in 14, they're going to be even less because it's been a steady, literally 14-year, year-over-year decline. Every year, it never goes up in the number of businesses. So that is because of a lot of it is really it's harder to transact with these traditional businesses because the sales process isn't there, because it's not what people are thinking about. So you've got to take this shift seriously. You hear us talk about this a lot. Sales process matters. There's no system like technology is
in
what
the
I mean.
world.
There's no that's going to replace like salespeople actually doing their fucking job.
Yep.
You putting
collecting information when they want. I mean that.
Yep. E-commerce, people want to buy online too, so you got to put in e-commerce.
In 2017, have a customer call in, come in over the phone, come in off the internet. Granted, the internet's going to be a little bit easier to control about this, but because you can collect it on
Right,
the
it's
get-go.
easy. It's easy, and people aren't even doing that, and that's part of the sales process.
But you
too.
can't not collect this information. Like, if it's not standard for you as a sales rep to come in and when you first say hello, before you take them to the rack over to the right to show them, 10 different brands of information and pallets and stuff, if you're not getting their name, email, or phone number, you're lost. You're done.
Yeah, because see, here's the thing, like, they're not just coming to you, and that's why, like, information collection is important. But it's also important for the customer, because
Shows you give a shit.
The only way you're going to be able to provide information, provide value to your customers, if you figure out a way to contact them. So if you don't find a way to contact them, and today, I mean, that could literally be anything from, like, a phone number to a frickin' Instagram handle, because everyone likes to communicate differently.
Text message, guys. Text message.
Yeah, dude, I'm 31, and, like, I feel like my two of my closest friends and I actually probably communicate more via Instagram direct message in our group chat than we do, like, via our text group chat, which is crazy. Considering we sit in front of computers and we have, like, our text messaging hook up to, but that's the sidebar. But you've got to collect that information because it's the only way that you're going to be able to provide additional value for your customer. It's not about marketing. It's about, like, actually providing value that goes above and beyond what they're coming to you for. And that's part of the sales process. So you collect that information, and they also, like, studies show, Yelp shows, Google, like, any home furnishings retailer, look at their Yelp, look at their Google reviews. They're all, like, the bulk of them that we've seen are under 3 stars, and, like, the ones that are bad, like, 90% of them are always about showroom experience because the salesperson doesn't greet them, doesn't ask for their info.
Yep.
All that.
I want to piggyback off that too. So, it's such a cop out. Customers are almost preconditioned when they walk into the showroom, and then inevitably, the first thing that's asked is, how can I help you today, or where can I point you at in the showroom or whatever. And inevitably that consumer is going to say, oh, I'm just looking, or I'm just browsing, or I don't need help right now. That's a cop-out if you just take that right off the bat. They're not looking to be sold, which is why they have that answer to begin with. They're looking for value, so provide some value to them.
Yeah.
In regards of, hey, I know you're just browsing right now, or I know you're just looking around the store. I'd love to cut down on the time for you and just point you in the right direction of what you need.
Or even like, who the hell comes to a design center for fun?
Yeah,
shoot
the shit with them.
Like,
hey, look, I don't know about you, Stan, but I don't know a lot of people that are just coming in on a Saturday morning to a lumber yard to look around.
How about, even I don't think this place is that cool that I would just, like, randomly want to hang out here. So,
guys, they're looking for value. They're not looking to be sold. So provide value.
Yeah, and chances are, like, look, if they are coming to, like, showroom something, that means that they're interested in it. So, like, generally speaking, this is why some people who have just, like, shit people skills, those people should not be salespeople. But you see some people.
Well, it comes back to segmentation, right?
Some people like, can walk into a room and they can talk to literally anyone in the room. Like, so it's not about what you're saying, and this is part of sales process too.
Yeah.
It's how you're saying it. It's how you ask for information.
Yeah.
It's the difference between I need your email. It's like that.
Hey, what's your email?
Versus, hey, I'll shoot you some additional info on this. I'll even write up a little recap for you. Do you care if I email it to you?
Yeah, context.
Yeah, it's like so. And I guess, like, because I know we tend to bounce all over the place on these. So, like, to put it in context of
hence off the record.
This is all, that's why it's off the record. That's why this is not a formal webinar. But the big thing is that sales process, like, again, like, if you don't have these things in place, if you have 1 million people walk into your showroom, like, you're not going to be able to sell them shit. And you might think, oh, well, I get really, really busy. Okay, well, cool. Like, it just turned out that, like, 4 housing markets in the United States just came out, breaking news, are now overpriced. DC, Houston, Denver, and what was the other one?
DC, Houston, Denver, and...
it's in our general Slack channel.
Yeah, I got it. It's DC, Houston, Denver, which are all huge housing markets, huge metro areas.
Yeah.
And it is Miami.
Yeah, so everything's like, it's, again, we're 9 years into a growth cycle. So, like, we're 9 years into a growth cycle. Be thinking about sales process. Be thinking about how you're going to earn business when you don't have the volume of leads. Like,
which is going to happen.
It's like, it's dead set.
For any of you that have been in the, that made it through the last recession, the last, like, 10 years ago, you know how hard it is. That should still be fresh in your mind.
Yeah, we were.
You know what you went through, so why?
We were running our distribution yard, and like, you know, if you're in retail, this should scare the shit out of you. We lost 60% of our retailers.
Basically overnight.
We lost 60% in like an 18-month period. So, like, don't think that, and you know, it was 08. Like, I heard someone the other night was saying, well, I think we're due for like maybe who's in money management, 5 to 10% pullback. Like, dude, the Dow Index has tripled in the last 10 years.
Just hit 22,000.
Like, home
Just
prices,
hit 22,000.
like, we are due for way more than a 5 to 10% pullback. So my point is that like you need sales process when things are good, but you really need sales process when things are bad. And again, absent technology, like it's asking the questions, it's getting the information, it's how you follow up, it's when you follow up.
From each and every rep, each and every, you know, whatever the name is that you call for the guys that are interacting with your
salesperson, trader,
whatever it is.
We've heard it all.
It's got to be consistent from person to person so you can plug and play. One guy shouldn't be having a different process than another guy just because they've been in it for 20 years and you trust them. That's horseshit.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, I mean, it's not scalable, and ultimately, if they've been in it for 20 years, I'm willing to bet that they're old and they're probably going to retire soon. Potentially, like, if not,
if you're worried about losing them, you know, this is why you need to have a sales process in place.
What happens if they get hit
by... The company is bigger than any one person.
What happens if they get hit by a bus? What happens if you're a rock star who, like...
You just had that conversation this morning.
You have no data on because you don't have a system in place, and you've got no idea how they were doing things because you never did any sales process training.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to think about, like, sales process as the bridge between, like, you're crossing a river, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the bridge. So you've got like your marketing and everything that's coming in, like your leads, and then you've got like this back end process that's your accounting system that you so desperately want to make sure you don't have to put information into more than once. And then your sales process is what actually like connects the lead to like the actual customer, like when they become a paying customer. So like everything you do in between is like, it really is the bridge over a river, and you want to make sure, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to fall down in a river and die.
No.
I don't want to drown. So make it strong.
And I can tell you right now, and if any technology that you implement, no matter what part of the company it's for, you know, there's always pushback from individuals saying it's going to take too much time, which is complete horse manure. And my point is with this is
manure. That's interesting.
Manure. I was gonna say horse shit.
Big word for you.
I like to dabble with my words and stuff.
Big word.
Yeah. So, but my point is, you know, coming back to, you know, all of that is, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I screwed you up on your manure.
You did. It'll come back. What was it talking about?
Well, I was talking about how sales process is the bridge across the river.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with that.
You know, you were going somewhere else.
I was going to take it somewhere else. Yeah, I was going to take a left turn.
Yeah, I think that...
We'll come back to it.
I think, you know, the big thing here, just remember, is to, like, think through how easy it is for someone to buy from you. Like, how easy do you make that process? What do you have in place? You know, we were talking about technology. I think Kyle was mentioning... that it's garbage, that people don't want to enter information, and one of the
well, what's not slowing you down is my point. What's not slowing you down is the technology itself. It's the refusal to adapt to today's environment that's slowing you down.
And a lot of that too is a function of like the age of the workforce in this sector. They just like, they might not have, there's not a lot of, and this is something that I hear from like leaders just like across the board, is they have trouble getting younger blood in the building materials industry. And like, guess what, guys? Like, a lot of the reason for that is that y'all refuse to adopt technology. I saw it when I was in the lumber business. Like, so, and as a result, you've got a workforce that isn't willing to be as adaptable. You also have, in many cases, terrible leadership that isn't willing to drive change. I mean, I would say
you got 7 years between when the millennial generation is going to make up 75% of the workforce. 7 years, right? So let's say you wait 7 years. It's by far too late to attract any of these people to come work within your industry and for your company.
And you know,
far too late. You need to do it now before it gets there.
That because they'd rather
look at 84 Lumber. What they're doing.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, and it's like, this is why like millennials would rather go to work for Amazon than they would like Joe's retail showroom.
They don't want to do what their parents did. They want to find it.
Yeah, and they also these are people who were born with like cell phones in their hands. Basically,
Yep.
I'm on like the tip of the millennial generation.
Yeah.
So like I actually was alive before
Pre
like
cell phone, me too.
yeah, honestly like pre cell phone. Like I remember when my dad had like a phone.
Beepers are huge.
Yeah, my dad had a phone bolted to his like transmission tunnel in his
You
Explorer.
remember the rotary dials?
Not that old.
I remember working at my swimming pool in small town America, having to use the rotary dial. So again, coming back to it,
Yeah,
even that ended now,
I remember that transition, but the issue is that the people who are like 6 years younger than me, they have no clue what it was like.
They don't know
without
anything
a
without a cell phone, particularly a smartphone.
Right, and so like these are people who were born like with technology in their hands, and so like you ask them to do a job with pen and paper, they're gonna be like, I'm not going to work for you.
They're laughing.
What the hell? Like, why is it?
Inefficient.
Because we all know that there's like a faster way to do something with technology. So
they don't use it in school now. From when they're in first grade, second, third grade, everybody uses computers now. So I get it. You like your ways. You've been doing it for several years the same way, and it has been successful. It's not going to be.
But
going
yeah,
forward.
it's not like it's. This is about thinking about what's gonna like work for the next like 3 decades.
Yeah.
It's not about
Take care of
like,
today,
just
for sure.
because you got here.
Where'd you
So like,
get?
not only do you have this massive disruption in retail in general, you've got like a disruptive workforce that's coming up because the younger generation is not going to tolerate this shit. Like just plain and simple. I know that.
I saw the disruption that took place in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Those that made it adapted. They got their iPads when they first came out. They started leveraging technology, whether it's digital contracts and e-signatures. And those guys that are crushing it, that are staying around now. But it also paved way for this new generation of realtor to come in, and it was the millennials there. So I've seen this disruption happen in a very related industry.
And what's also like hilarious too is you think about Amazon, and everyone's like Amazon, like and then they'll say like we've been doing this way for like 30 years. Well, Amazon was born in 1994.
Yeah. Lapse.
Amazon's over 20 years old.
Yeah.
Like think about that for a minute. So like you might have been doing things the same way for 20 years, and for the last 20 years, Jeff Bezos has been figuring out a way to enslave technology to do it better than you.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of cases. Like, and that's
almost
just
every
like,
single case.
That's just the reality of it. Like, so there are ways that you can like take your processes, adapt. Like this is all about responding to what's going on in the marketplace. So like, point being, sales process, barring the technology piece, this is it's all the same though, because it's all about like adapting. Like you might not have needed a sales process 10 years ago. Guess what? You're going to need one for the next 10 years. Like it's just going to happen.
Going forward, like you gotta have this nailed down.
And you've got to have a process for every area where you're marketing. What is it like when someone comes on your site because you want to turn that lead into a sale on your site? What's that transaction look like? What if I came to your website today, knew what I wanted to buy, was seeing if you had it, could I buy it from you on your website? Great question.
Or even in store. Like, how do I know if you got it in store or not if you're not listing your categories online?
Right.
Like,
well, and then what does your sales process look like when I walk in? What's your showroom look like? Like, what is the experience? This is all about
follow-up process, because I'm going 3 to 4 different locations gathering this information.
Yeah, this is all about experience and value, and ultimately, like, the experience comes from the delivery of value. So how easy is that transaction, guys? That's all we're getting at.
Yeah.
Like, in sales process is the vehicle through which you make that transaction really easy. So whether it's me talking to you and you walk in, or you call in and I answer the phone, and how I collect information, or how I'm listing what I'm trying to sell on my website, which is nothing more than my digital storefront.
Yeah.
This is all about like everything is a process. Like, and of course, like there's some wiggle room in there because you've got people who who are terrible social skills, they should not be selling, but those people might be geniuses at generating online commerce. Like in 2017, you've got to be able to transact on a website and transact in person.
So here's the thing too, flooring industry in particular for this, the average consumer before they actually buy visits 3 to 4 locations. 80% of them are doing research online. We'll tell you this:
90% online, 149 days to purchase.
Exactly, and then coming back to the actual in-store environment, 60% of sales that come in through the website like that choose the person that actually picks the phone up and calls them. Like, too often, you get an inbound lead and you wait 10 minutes and you wait 30 minutes and you wait 4 hours, you wait a full day. You're not getting that sale.
No, you're done after an hour. Realistically, you're done after 30 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. So this comes back to the sales process.
So yeah,
If you don't have a defined sales process for everything going from your walk-ins to people calling on the phone to the inbound coming in off your website, if you don't have a process for this, it's going to be hard to compete.
yeah, the online leads work this way. The phone-ins work this way. The walk-in works this way. The people who buy online, which you should absolutely be able to do, you know, and that's the other thing is a lot of like tradespeople will be like, well, no, you can't, like, they need me to install their cabinets. Well, what if they want to install them themselves? Like, then you're just selling product that's sitting in your warehouse. That
This stuff is just going to keep getting easier and easier. And so
Yeah.
look at flooring. Like, I just piece it together.
right, and yeah, there are a lot of
Look
technologies
at companies
now.
like IKEA that bolt stuff together with some instructions.
That's
like,
another great.
Like,
Dude,
it's going to keep,
I-
innovation doesn't
A
stop.
friend of mine has a killer ready to assemble furniture company that's sold in all the big retailers, sold on Amazon, and just is absolutely like blown up over
Yeah.
the last 5 years. I mean, he is freaking killing it. But you know, I guess my point is that you know, you've got to have, like you said, a defined process for every channel where you're marketing. You've got to just make the sale easy. Like, that should be the goal of the sales
And then back
process
into
at the
it.
outset. And again, like, sorry this wasn't like formal webinar, here are your steps, but like really the conclusion, if
Which
I
we
could
can
boil it
do.
down, if you watch anything, you know, pay attention to this part. The sales process is all about making it easy to buy from. First, it's about your customer, and then it's making it easier to sell. So everyone on the sales team has the same playbook to run, and it's easy for buyers. So whether I call you, whether I walk into your store, or I go to your website, it's really easy for me to purchase from you. That is the primary concern of all of this, and that is the single reason that retail has gotten slaughtered, because their concern has been on themselves, on what their vendors are going to do for them, and not on what they're actually doing for their customers.
Yeah.
That's why the attrition has been so high.
And you're guaranteeing when you have a uniform sales process like that, that every time, no matter who it is in the organization that answers the call or greets the person coming through the door, you know, you're guaranteeing your customer the same experience regardless. And that's what it's all about. A consistent sales experience.
Yep, so just think of it in terms of making it really easy to buy, and the sales process is really the bridge over the gap between a lead and like an actual paying customer, and how sturdy and direct do you want that bridge to be. Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Think about how you ask questions, think about putting things in context, think about like conversating.
That's a
humor.
good point. It doesn't have to be complex.
No, it's actually it's hilariously not complex.
Yeah.
What's complex is
Keep it
breaking
easy.
down like the mechanisms. Like, okay, someone comes to the website, they submit their like online is much more complex than like in person or over the phone. That's a piece of cake. Like online leads, there's like that's where you really have to like you've got to be doing 12 contacts. You've got to be
That's where system comes into place. But
yeah.
you know that's a good point. You know, to kind of tie everything together. You know, we do some consulting work for companies that are looking for an actual defined sales process. You know, there's other companies out there that do it, but at the end of the day, you got to want to do it. You know, you got to want to put this in place. You got to want to follow a consistent sales process from start to finish, no matter if you've been in the business for 25 years or just starting out.
Yeah, a lot of people talk. They want to do a lot of things. They want to, but the
You
reality
gotta
is,
do.
it's like at the end of the day, this always comes down to actually executing. It's not about what you say. It's about what you do. So if you're going to sit on the sidelines and not do anything, best of luck to you. But I don't think that that's the case. At least nobody who's going to be watching this. But that's the flip side of it. Is that you take these steps, it's going to make weathering whatever comes, good or bad, a hell of a lot easier, because the easier you are to transact with, the more of those leads are going to convert into paid sales for you.
Yeah, 100%. So if anybody has questions on the sales process, if anybody wants help, you know, feel free to DM us. shoot us a comment. We're more than happy to help.
Yeah, message us right on our page.
Yep.
It's probably easier
Yep.
for us to get that even. We try to answer the comments when we can, but definitely message
Yep.
us because we all get that
Yep.
on our phones.
Absolutely. Same thing goes for Instagram, Twitter, all that at the Lead Tool. More than happy to help you out anywhere that you can really contact us. We'll be available for you. Otherwise, stay tuned for the podcast that will be uploaded after this. Other than that, guys, we look forward to seeing you next week at 3 o'clock for another edition of In the Lead Off the Record.
Heck yeah. Have a great day.